have it. Oh yes. Oh. Sorry, I'm just pumping a bit of iron. Oh yes. We finally have a very important part for the steam engine build, being the cylinders. Well, the main body of the cylinders, we've got that part of them. These have been supplied by Acorn Steam. They have been designed by Rod Burnley of the Thomas II fame, so we know that the castings are really good because he's renowned for doing really good castings. At the moment, I've only bought the main cylinders, the piston blanks and some of the valve glands. As we all know, these things cost a heck of a lot of money. I'm buying the bits that I need, and there's a couple more bits that I do need to buy, but they're beautiful. The castings on them are beautiful. The ports have already been cast in, which is amazing, saves us a bit of a job. Maybe a bit tricky for us to set up a machine because this is the first time I've done this, so I've never done machining cylinders, so I don't know how this is going to go. The piston blanks, they're really nice as well, and the valve glands, which we've got the valve glands for the valve chest and the main piston rod. I think you're going to kind of get an idea now of where we're going to go next, which is to get the steam engine running on air. Now thankfully, Ben at Acorn Steam has supplied us with drawings for all the necessary parts, the valves and the pins and you name it, all sorts. We have a good base to go from. Those have been drawn again by Rod Burnley, very talented guy. Ben at Acorn is the supplier for these castings on Rod's behalf, so if you're after a set or individual parts, then get in contact with Acorn Steam. No doubt Ben will be able to give you a quote for the parts or the set that you require. I do plan on buying the cylinder covers. I think buying them will make it a little bit easier. The valve chest, I do have a piece of steel in stock, which I'm going to fabricate that. The valve chest cover, now the one that Rod has designed is absolutely beautiful and it really does look smart, but on my steam engine you're not going to see it at all, which is such a shame, and I don't want to buy an expensive part for it not to be seen. It's too good to have undercover for the plan that I have for the steam engine, so I am just going to have just mild steel plate for the chest covers, and the rest of it I'm not too sure. We're just going to do a bit at a time. We've got cylinders, somehow I've got to machine them. I flicked to my phone camera here so you can see these lines. What I've found that this edge here that it sat on the granite table with, that is the flattest surface of the cylinder. And how I did that was I scribed a line here. If you can see that, I get my pencil here. I scribed that line on that side, and then I turned it round and scribed it here. This is very difficult to do, that you can see this. There we are, I can just see it now, that line. And I did it from here, and then I flicked the cylinder over and I did the same, but what I found was this line on either side when I did it from here was a mil or so different. So I decided to do this edge as the datum. I marked the centre of the cylinder by marking down that measurement and then scribing this measurement, dividing the two to get my centre line, which you can see there, which I've taken all the way around to the other side, and took a datum off here and scribed the port lines, which you can see there, which do actually correspond. Very difficult for you to see, but it does correspond with the port on the end. This top line and the bottom line are the top of here, which I use the vernier height gauge to get the highest one, and the difference is so minute. And again, I marked that all the way around. Well, not all the way around, but on both ends. And I did the same for the bottom. And what I found was this figure between these two lines and those two lines are the same, and the centre line of the cylinder to these two lines, these are both the same. So I have found the centre of the bore, and I've marked that all the way around. So from the centre line, I have the figure on the drawings, which is 3 1/4, I think it was, 3 1/4, from that centre line to there. So I need to machine that off, which, if you actually look, it's quite consistent all the way around. So I can machine this top face off, and then I have a true datum to work, and work 90 degrees to cut this one once I found the centre that way. Basically, I've found a position on the cylinder where I can start working from. On the drawing, it kind of does say it's from this one, but I did find that the cylinder rocked when this face was on the table. It rocked, whereas this side, there is nothing at all. It doesn't move, only when you rock it that too far that way. So I'm basically just going to clamp it down on there, I think, because we're not going to be we're not taking heavy cuts off, I don't think so. Yeah, wish me luck. Nice. I've had to put the guards on. The cast is just going absolutely everywhere. I'm getting covered in it. So I'll put the guards on to limit where it's going. Ooh, messy stuff, this cast. Right, so we're down to the last little bit to cut off. So using the vernier height gauge, we're going to just check where we're at and take it away from the measurements that we already have for where it should be, and then that should give us the final cut or 2 cuts. So we'll get that sorted. So I've cleaned the bed, and we'll just bring this down till it touches, lock the top off, and then we'll have to slightly adjust it. It's just catching, you won't be able to hear it, but I can just feel it. Right, there we are, we'll lock that off. And then we'll check the measurement and we'll find out what the final cut is. Right, so from our centre line, our finished figure is 2.991 inch. So that's the figure we want. So at the moment we are 3 I think we're a 311, I think. We'll call that 11. So a 3.11, so right. So we need to take off 0.02. Yeah. So we need to take off 0.02. Right. So I'm just going to take the 0.01 off at a time. I'm not going to take too much off. Right, so I've only taken 1 cut. The reason being is this edge here, where the port is getting really thin. So I've only taken 0.01 of an inch off. It could do with another one, but that being so small, I'll just make sure I add that on to the end cap that goes inside, and I'll jot it down on the casting with a marker, so I know what's what. Just one of them things. I don't want to take too much off this face here, but I don't know how deep this port is, and if it tapers, is the end cap going to cover it? I don't know, and I don't want to risk a blowout with the pressure, so that'll do us for now. The only problem with cast is the amount of mess it makes and the cleaning up you've got to do. It's one messy job. So there we are. We now have the cylinders, all the faces that we need to have faced off, all now faced off. I think they've turned out absolutely fantastic. You know, I've never ever done this before. This is totally new to me. I seem to have got them so close. Between the two on the length, there is 0.001 of an inch difference between them, which is 0.0245 millimeters, which is rather small. The drawings show a tolerance of 10 thou, so I think I'm within that. Obviously, as mentioned earlier, they are slightly different in length to the drawing, but it doesn't matter because we have plenty of play on the steam engine to adjust where things are, and obviously that was all to do with how thin we were getting here on the ports. As long as the internal volume is the same, we're all good. Yeah, I might not have shown a lot of the setting up and stuff like that because I've never done it before. I had to keep myself concentrated on the job, if you know what I mean. If you're new to this yourself, I found a datum edge. Ended up being this one, these two. This one seemed to be the flattest edge here, for me to then machine this edge, which then I could machine that edge, and then using squares and stuff like that and my angle plate started on the end and then the other end. Because this has got the ports in, I've had to work from the ports. You might get cylinders that don't have ports, so it is a bit easier, but because we've got the ports already in here, I've had to make sure that the length is off the center line of this port here, because these are pretty accurate. These, I'm really surprised when you line them up. They actually do line up. I don't think I'm going to do anything with those. So, but yeah, do lots of measuring, do lots of setting up. Just go by the rule of measure once, you cut twice. You measure twice, you cut once. Or in this instance, I measured several times, and it's taken me quite a while to do these, but I am pleased with what's happened. And you will also notice, write things down, work things out. Like I've worked lots of stuff out on the vernier and stuff. That's it for this episode. I'm super impressed how far I've got. If you like what you've seen, then, and you haven't already, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell and be notified when we next release a video. If you wouldn't mind tickling the like button, that will help it share around to like-minded folk, just like yourselves. Clicking over here, you might enjoy that video too. Stay safe. Laters.